Okay, let's go from let's go to worse news. All right.
Worse
Oh, even
news.
better.
Yeah, this is so disturbing because it's so unknown, right? It's unknown. Now this is a little bit confusing. I'm gonna do my best to kind of clean it up and clear it out. So I didn't go through the whole article, but hopefully it's enough that you guys get it. Like I asked you, Eric, in your law enforcement career, have you ever heard of titling and indexing?
No, I don't think I have.
So I haven't either, but this article explains it. So
Titling and indexing.
from stripes.com, the article's titled Veterans Fight to Clear Their Names for Military Crimes They Did Not Commit. And it starts off with an example. So,
Wait, it's the
huh?
guy that stole the Humvee that's trying to get off, right?
Oh, no, no, not at
He's
all.
He's not
trying. He's
military.
trying to get
He's a
off.
Did
civilian.
they even find that guy?
I
Yeah, they
don't
did find that guy, I think, right?
Okay, Crooks.
No,
I
he's
couldn't
straight.
resist.
He's straight
Yeah.
up crook. He knew he did it, right? He
Yeah.
knew he did it.
I thought
These
he's like,
guys don't
it
know.
wasn't me. It wasn't me. I swear.
All right, now this story is retired Sergeant Major, right, of the Army. Retired Sergeant Major Eric Brown first learned of his criminal record in 2021 during a screening for veteran disability benefits as part of his retirement from the Army. He met with a civilian psychologist in South Korea as part of a post traumatic stress disorder screening. The psychologist asked him whether his pending criminal charge was causing him emotional distress. Brown, who spent 28 years doing HR work in the Army, said he looked at the doctor perplexed. Uh, two
What are you
years
talking
prior,
about?
a fellow soldier in Korea accused him of assault. She told military police that Brown, in a period of 3 months, had hit her on the back of the neck, bumped her in an on post store at Camp Humphreys, and then grabbed her arm after an event. No charges ever came of the accusations, according to Brown's service record and documentation that he would later present to the Army Board for Correction of Military Records. An officer in Brown's chain of command with 8th Army conducted an internal investigation and found no evidence it happened, even discovering Brown wasn't even on post the day that he supposedly bumped the woman at the store. He was never arrested or detained or read his rights. There was no court martial or non judicial punishment. Instead, Brown received a reprimand in his personal file for unprofessional behavior. The letter scolded Brown for touching the woman's neck and then reaching for her arm after she had told him that she did not want to be touched. Nowhere in the letter does he write Brown was arrested or committed a crime. That's the important
Hmm.
part. The ordeal had left him with a criminal arrest record listed on his background check with no resolution, as if he
Wow.
was still waiting to face judgment for a misdemeanor assault charge. So I was wondering how the hell did this get to his record?
Wow.
Brown is one of thousands of service members who have been investigated by military law enforcement agencies, never charged or convicted of a crime, and yet their criminal records show otherwise, according to attorneys who work with military clients. The root of the issue is the Defense Department policy ordering its law enforcement agencies to put a suspect's name into the FBI's National Crime Information Center database once agents have, quote
Hmm.
unquote, credible information that a crime occurred. The practice is known as titling and indexing. That's why I asked Eric. I don't know if you heard that,
Never heard
but
of it.
that must
Nope.
be an OSI or a CID thing.
Yep.
Credible information could be as simple as someone coming in and making a report. It typically precedes any evidence gathering or real investigative work, said Christopher Noonviller. It's a tough last name to say. Noonviller, a former Army
Noonviller.
attorney who continues to work on military cases. Civilian law enforcement agencies do not enter people into the national database until there is an arrest warrant or indictment. He published a paper to his law firm's website last month on the military's expansive use of criminal titling. He recommended the military adopt civilian law enforcement standards instead. The DoD transfer of the titling data to the national database before the investigation begins is a pervasive, arbitrary, and capricious administrative function that serves no legitimate government purpose but to bureaucratically punish individuals. Uh, okay,
Wow.
why are they doing this? Why are they doing this, right? Um,
Yeah. What's the benefit to the Air Force? Why are they doing
let's
it?
see. The oh shit. Oh, okay. So this guy wrote why they do this. He wrote last year in a lawsuit on criminal titling that the services do this as an overcorrection to the 2007 mass shooting carried out by an Air Force veteran in Sutherland Springs, Texas. I don't even remember that mass shooting.
2007.
Yeah, look that up. The veteran had a domestic violence conviction from his time in the service, but was never entered into the FBI database. This allowed him to purchase a firearm. Another lawyer said he gets calls at his law firm about titling expungement every day. Oh, so what they're saying is that the service overreacted to this incident in 2007. So they said, all right, CID, OSI, if you guys have any kind of background stuff on this guy, regardless if you charge him, into the database he goes. So people are like, I don't even realize I have a criminal record in the FBI until they start background checking me for some job. And then it pops up and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was never convicted of this. And they're like, too bad. You're already in. Because that's their policy.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's their policy now. So they talked to these lawyers, and they got thousands of people trying to expunge these records. But for those who do seek expungement of their record, they are more than likely going to be denied, according to data from the military services. Less than 9% of service members and veterans who made requests to the Army and Air Force since 2021 were successful.
Jeez, man.
So you've got this charge, right, on your national record, not on military, right, on your national record. So you try to go get a clearance, you try to get a job, and they're like, hey, you got a criminal charge on here because you're in this database.
And
so
it's pending.
You're in the database.
Yeah, but I mean,
done.
It
doesn't matter.
Earlier you said it looks like you haven't been, like, it hasn't been convicted. You haven't been, it's like pending.
But you have no recourse to try to go, how do I get this taken care of? And the military is like, well, we didn't charge you. And it says in the article, the military is saying, it's not us, that's the FBI. It's like, but you're giving them the information. Like he is.
Yeah, you're logging it first.
Right.
And now you're stuck. Now it's the chicken and the egg. Who crossed first kind of thing. Yeah. You're stuck.
So they said I guess there was a recruitment bonus thing about 10 years ago. Right. There was a bunch of fraud, and they did that. So after that, they started changing the law a little bit. So now they say you can go back, and it gives you a little bit more freedom to try to get this expunged. But it still falls on the servicemen to provide extra material for your case. So to provide more proof that it should be expunged. So it's
you're proving yourself innocent?
Yeah. Proving yourself innocent. Or to get it taken off your record. So once it's on, man, they're like,
you talk about FUBAR, man. That's some serious. That's FUBAR.
It sucks. Dude.
And they said there are thousands of people like this. Some high qualified people who don't know they have it until they get out, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just go get this space job with my TS clearance." And they're like, wait a minute, that background investigation shows you on an FBI database."
I must have been cleared.
That's as much as a federal crime almost.
I was cleared of all those charges.
Well, that's what's funny. They might not even bring charges, right?
No.
You're just under investigation.
You can get an honorable discharge. That's what it said. You can get an honorable discharge, but have a criminal record because they pushed your information over to the FBI. And once you're in, you can't dip your toe in the FBI stuff. Yeah. Right? You're never going to come out clean. It's like, sorry about that.
No, and everybody knows there's no toe dipping in the FBI.
Yeah, we're going to watch you. We're going to watch you. So.
If it's even comes close to being classified as a freaking felony, holy cow, man!
Right.
No rentals, no carry guns.
Job searches, if they're doing background checks for high jobs, they're going to see that flagged. Yeah. Whether it's true or not, they're just going to come back to you and go, "Look,
nope,
your clearance is flagged, man. I can't do anything.
Guy.
I can't do anything." And he's like, I didn't even do anything. Like,
well, and think it wouldn't even have to be a clearance job if you don't meet their standards.
Right.
They're like, well, we don't. Sorry.
And that whole bottom half of the article talks about two other people that were just like, hey, I did 23 years in, had an honorable discharge, and now I can't use my master's degree. I can't use because I can't get into the jobs I want to get.
Just doing a background check.
That's a background check, right?
Wow. Just that initial, like normal jobs just do background, not like how many times have you committed fraud or like that kind of.
I wonder if there's any pending litigation with that. I'm sure there is. There's got to be somebody's got a lawyer that's got.
That's what these lawyers are talking about. There's like I said, there's thousands of them
suing either the FBI or the Air Force or somebody.
Who's got the money to go pay for pending litigation? That's years out.
True. Right? Especially if you're not working.
So there's a couple people. One person in particular. There's a woman named Liz Ullman. She's a 71-year-old Colorado retiree, and she's kind of become an unofficial collector of these stories on this titling subject. So she operates a website called Defend Our Protectors, where she provides information on titling and advocates for a change to the DoD policy. So you can go there and get some resources if you are in that boat. So
that's good. If it's that many people, man.
Yeah. It says who's this guy? One of these quotes is, Army leaders are taking the position that they can create false government records with impunity. This is especially troubling when you consider that they're branding soldiers and veterans as criminals while granting them an honorable discharge. So
I'd love to see the difference between enlisted versus officer.
Well, that first guy was a sergeant major.
Well,
I mean, jeez.
Higher up.
But they have an officer, and he was in the Guard, and he got promoted to captain, and they took it away because he had one of these charges on there.
Wow.
He's like, I didn't even know.
That's insane.
This O'Connell, I think, is another lawyer. He said, if the flawed logic and false records weren't bad enough, it gets worse when you consider the impact on recruiting. What parent in their right mind would encourage their child to join a military knowing that their loved one may end up falsely branded as criminal for the rest of their life?
Yeah, but he can wear a beard and have a neck tattoo.
Then he can really look like a criminal.
Yeah, you're good. Come on in. We'll let you have some eyelashes.
And you would have never known that unless maybe like that sergeant major found out.
Yeah.
That's just crazy, man.
Yeah.